Hello everyone, and welcome to the first guide of Warhammer 40k Chaosgate Daemonhunters on how to defeat the 5 Reapers on Legendary difficulty. We're already at the first one, Aeger, and since this is the first video, I'll actually explain my build and everything, because that's essentially what matters. And uh, and the next ones, I will not tell you the build unless there's any major changes from this first video. So, as you can see, we're already at Aeger, the first one, leader of the Poxus one, the green one, which normally be the first one you do since you're fighting Poxus a whole lot more and you probably have a whole lot more seeds. So, let's get into it. So these are our 4 handpicked soldiers. We got 1 Justicar, 2 Interceptors, and 1 Predator. So, Ioannis, the Justicar, besides, since it's a legendary, they should all be high level. The one that isn't close is the Purgator, but he has the necessary abilities. I'll show you in a minute. Right, to the Justicar. What matters mostly in the Justicar is his Honor the Chapter ability, which you should have maxed out. Because this essentially allows you to just give, for a fraction of willpower, in this case like 5 willpower, 2 plus 1 plus 2 equals 5, this would actually allow you to give AP, meaning almost 5 AP, according to these ones. 5? Yeah, I believe it's 5. To another warrior. This will mostly be given to the Interceptors since they can teleport. They can actually teleport right next to the boss. And so those are 5, I believe 5 extra hits you can deal. That is mostly all of the Justicar's role in this. The rest of the abilities are, well, mix and match. Can be whatever you want. I mean, if you're playing on Legendary, I highly recommend Hammer Hands because it's crits. You can disable enemies' abilities, weapons, etc. But let's focus on the boss. What matters to him, to the Justicar, is indeed the Honor the Chapter ability. In terms of loadout, he has a really good sword, which has a high parry chance, 75% chance. I haven't upgraded it yet because it's not technically necessary. And so as you can see, his parry is at 95% because he has the war gear, which increases his focus. I'll show you in a minute. This is good because it can simply block enemy attacks. Although I am explaining this, but this won't matter because you'll just be fighting the boss and hopefully the boss will die in a single turn. But just explain the build. I won't show you the bolter or the armor because it has no wait, I believe the armor actually adds to his willpower. No, it adds to his focus. That's why his parry is so high also. Sorry about that. But you can also do this one to give him extra willpower. This is not bad since he has a 9. Meaning you could actually go to 10, maybe 11 if I actually gave him the blue seeds. This will allow me to use the Honor the Chapter maxed out a second time without him having to kill any other enemies. But that's enough out of the Justice. Now, to the ones that actually matter. The Interceptors. These are the ones you have to... These are the important ones. These are the damage dealers. So, let's do it by order. First of all, you would want Storm Bolters with high ammo capacity. The damage is a bit irrelevant. What you want is 4 bullets. In case you don't kill him at the first round, you should have 4 bullets. I'll explain this in a second. The melee weapons are what's important. In this case, he has a 6 damage blade, which with 4 strike gains +1, the weapon has an inherently 20% chance to crit, and the affliction to weaken is irrelevant. So as you can see, he has 35% chance to crit, and due to his abilities, which we'll see in a minute, he'll deal +4 crit damage every time he crits. And 35% chance to crit is is a big deal. The armor itself isn't. There's nothing to talk about it. The armors aren't that. Mines aren't important to this. In terms of equipment, I actually gave him this, which is only tier 1. If you have a higher tier, it's better. Because in this case, he gains 2% crit damage for their melee attacks. If you have one that increases his crit chance, perhaps that is better, because he will strike more times without... he'll strike more times without Hammerhand, without the crit, so it's a chance for you to crit more. But this is what we have. Now, in terms of the abilities, because that's what matters. So, he's maxed out, but what you essentially want to have is you want to have support fire. Because support fire makes sure that every time somebody is shot, if this grenade is close to him, he will fire 2. This only does 2, but since I have it fully upgraded, this means that with 2 different shots, this knight will also fire for 5 points each. So, imagine I fire and I do 0 damage. I fire twice, do 0. But this knight will fire for 5 plus 5, meaning 10. Meaning every time you fire with somebody else, you're gaining 10 points of damage. If you fire twice with another Grey Knight, you're gaining 10 points of damage with no AP cost. That's why I bring 2. The other important ability is Hammerhand, which makes sure that you actually crit the targets. And Aeger and most bosses are important to crit because it disables certain abilities. I'll tell you more about the boss abilities when we get to the actual boss. But as you can see, he has several abilities. As you can see, Hammerhand deals 6 because the weapon deals 6, and it has an inherently +1. But besides doing +1, he has +2 crit damage. Meaning the Hammerhand does 6 +1, that's 7, +2, that's 9. Given the fact that I gave him that bulk, which increases his damage, you're looking at 11 damage with a crit, which are great numbers. And these are just to increase his crits. Also, this is nice because when he crits, there's a chance that he actually gains another AP, meaning he can strike again. The loadout I show you is only a suggestion. You can mix and match. Besides, you may not have the same things as I have, but you can mix and match whatever works for you. I'm just offering a strat. That's basically it. If you want to have teleport boost, it's also good because they will teleport every round, if possible, if the willpower allows it. And when they do, they might get a chance to strike again. And since Voltred has 35% chance to crit, that extra AP, that extra attack can actually be a crit. That means 11 more damage, which is really nice. Cirrus has mostly the same loadout, if not the identical same loadout. No, he has a bit of a difference. He has less crit chance, yeah, he only has 5. That's also due to the weapon. But his Hammerhand can make the target bleed, which actually may be beneficial, because maybe it just escapes with like 3-4 points. I mean, this only gives 2, but that's less 2 that you have to deal with. Again, support fire is a must. You must have this in order to make your life easier. And I have teleport boost. Teleport boost is a suggestion. This is a suggestion. But I highly recommend support fire and the Hammerhand with the crits here. In terms of build, his bolter is just to have 4 bullets. So support fire, that's actually the thing, I didn't explain it. The bolter has 4 bullets. Support fire triggers twice per round. So this means that in the next round you can actually trigger again support fire twice without the knight having to waste an action to reload. So that's why the 4 bullets actually matter. In terms of the weapon, he actually has a level 3 hammer, which is really great. So he has 6 damage, but his crits do a +3, so that's 9 right out the bat. And since I actually gave him the book as well, you can see it on the right side, that's a little warp breaker. 6 damage plus 7 crits. That's 13 damage per crit. And don't forget, then if he crits, he can strike again, meaning that can actually be 6 damage. Again, 7 if I use Force Strike, which I don't know, depends on my book. But those are the intercepts, those are the bulk of your deck. Now, the last one, the Purgatory. The Purgatory is here, specifically with the Silencer. This one's Silencer is really good. It only has 3 bullets. It has a +1 on crit damage, which is nice. But it deals 7 damage per shot. That's really good. But the Purgatory is here, essentially, so you can trigger support fire from the interceptors. And as you can see, he has range 18. The range is important because that means he can deal more damage from further away, meaning he can trigger support fire easier, and if he moves less, he has more time to fire. I put the shard, as you can see, the Santic shard, so 20% focus, so I can trigger I have a 70% chance to trigger the auto. Since he has Astral Aim, see it, which is essentially Hammer Hand with range, 70% chance that when I use that ability, he actually gains the AP back, meaning that's another shot, that's another 7 damage. To the abilities themselves. He only is a level 6, so if you have a higher one, you can go for it. Astral Aim is a must. This ensures a crit. This is the auto, and this is just increases damage. This makes him give him armor pierce. In this case, to Aeger, it isn't that much. It isn't that important because Aeger doesn't have any armor. But to other bosses it can, so that thing might matter. Also, this side is important because it allows him to give him crit damage and the extra ammo. How much ammo do I have? I got 5 bullets because of these abilities. See, and this is the Silencer range. This is the Silencer area. And support fire is actually, I don't recommend this because the Purgatory's ability is to trigger support fire from the interceptors. But if something else triggers his support fire, he may lose ammo, you may force you to reload, that costs an action. An action makes that maybe you cannot reach a target, and if you cannot reach a target, you can't fire, and if you can't fire, the interceptors can fire, so that's a whole cascade of events. So I don't recommend support fire, because you're wasting ammo. I'm wasting a 7 damage shot to deal 2. Sure, it doesn't cost any AP, but it's still only 2 damage. What matters here is range. This one is a good ability. Not for the bosses specifically, but in general, because since it is ignore damage penalties for partial cover, if the enemy is hiding behind partial cover, it doesn't even matter. So he can shoot them. If he can shoot them, the interceptors can shoot them. So this makes the whole game easier. And this one, because it gives them +2 crit damage when using a Silencer. And once again, more damage. I believe that's about it. Let me see. No, I don't have any extra slots. The Santic shard there is good. Let me see about Yolantis. What did I put? Oh, I didn't actually explain Yolantis' his armor. Actually, I should explain the armor, damn it. He has focus, he has +2 armor, but Yolantis has an ability to actually give him another piece of war gear. And in this case, I gave him the Disruptor Skull, which it only has 2 bullets, it only has 2 ammo, but it doesn't cost any AP, and it's 2 damage. mean, you can simply do 4 damage to the boss. You can kill a boss with a disruptor, with a servo skull. Like a massive beam just gets killed by a servo skull. But I gave him this, and down here I gave him the thing. I gave him the instance for the extra willpower. Willpower matters a lot for the Justice. I believe that's about it. In terms of stratagems, I don't have stratagems because this is legendary. I focused on actually progressing the story and other things. I don't have anything. I have Quicksilver, which is the one you immediately get, and Gate of Infinity, which is a must on legendary. Essentially allows you to skip fights, basically. So as you can see, these ones don't really matter. If you have decent stratagems, by all means use it. Like precision bombarding to just deal damage, that's great. I don't have it, and this is a way of showing you that you don't need the stratagems to beat the boss. So we have everything. Yes, Mudra a bit injured. That's a shame, but let's do this. There will be a huge S monologue once we actually get in there. I do enjoy the custom screens. Aeger's main thing is the use of Nurglings, and the fact that the Nurglings can not only shield him if you use range, but you can actually consume them to deal less damage. You can actually consume them to gain back health. But again, that's an ability.
What
Oh,
do we have here?
this is a huge ass monologue.
Pilgrims on a holy journey to receive their benedictions. Come now, bow before your rightful king, and I
Wish you could skip this, but you
will
can't.
bestow you such wonderful gifts.
Commander, be warned. The demon's vile spawn already infests this planet.
Such an ungrateful tone wins its way from above. This one, I sense, despises my loyal flock unfairly.
It can bring to bear hordes of those vile nerdlings. You must be wary.
If you will not accept what I offer, then I must regretfully request you depart my realm. No? A pity, but you will make a fine
Alright, so we're actually now fighting.
They are always ever so hungry.
First order of business. As you can see, he brings 2 Plague Bearers, which have seeds, but honestly, these guys don't even matter. It's if you want to kill them, you can try. I don't recommend it. Your focus should be the boss. As soon as the boss dies, the game ends. If you want, you can actually bring the servo skulls to actually extract their seeds. And if the boss doesn't die on the first turn, which actually happened to me the first time I tried this, you can actually use Hammer Hand on the next turn. Don't worry about them getting injured. Truly. Injuries are minor. This is a boss. You just get the boss out of the way. So, first things first. Traveler. And as you can see, I am still far away from the boss itself, which doesn't really matter.
In an instant.
They'll get plagued, which sucks.
Your orders?
Oh, as you can see, the teleport boost actually triggered, meaning Volder it still has his 3 AP.
In an instant.
And we're back here.
Your orders?
And it didn't trigger for him, for Cirrus, fortunately. Now, let's see if the Purgator can actually hit him. Now, as you can see, he's just... Oh, wait, he actually can. And he can actually trigger it for 5. So this is a bit of math. You can actually see, if I go here, I'll waste only 1 AP. And I'll do 6. 6 times 2 equals 12. With 2 shots. No, much rather fire from here. 5 times 3 equals 15. So, he's here. Oh, sorry, not that. And we'll immediately use Astral Aim. Actually, you didn't see it, but we'll see the abilities. Those things are worrying me. Usually you see an icon. Hold up. Yeah, I'm not seeing an icon.
I am here
Wait,
to serve.
let's actually use them first. Just to make sure that... Alright, Hammer Hand, 6 plus 5 equals 11. So you didn't see it, so I didn't show it. He has 150 HP. Which is a lot. But don't worry. We can do this. Anyway, I can actually use... Oh, actually, if I stay here, I only use 1. Alright. Let's go. Alright, disable Nurgling Spew, disable Go Forth my nephews. Usually the Go Forth is actually better, so he doesn't hit them and doesn't gain back health. And Volder adds another action, which is perfect. These are the Nurgling mounts. Don't worry about them, just focus on them. And as you can see, 11 points of damage right there. Now we're doing the same. This is just to make sure that support fire actually triggers. Oh, Sirius only has 1. Yeah. If I go here, I'll actually use this thing. Lose it. So, yes, let's go. Hammer Hands for 6 plus 8, that's 14 damage. So let's go. And you can actually just do this one. Give him extra damage. Actually better. So that should be about 17. He had 139. Should be at 122. 122, perfect. Don't know why I'm watching from his backside. Yeah, see, come home, my nephew's asked to be disabled. I think I made a mistake on that. Yeah, that was a mistake. Alright. Astral Aim.
I have seen your weakness.
Silence, no. Disable Nurgling Spew, no. Damage. Let's go for them. And there you go, support fire kicking in.
Such efforts are futile. Repent this
Fire again.
foolishness and accept
He already is at 98. A third of his HP is gone. $93. And this will go 88 and now 83. 83. There we go.
I strike true.
And one more shot. Alright. So Volder doesn't have it, so we just keep hitting him. This one doesn't do. No, this one doesn't do.
Yes, Commander.
So just keep hitting him. Actually, I think I'll use 1 force strike. How much? 6 to 8. Yeah, I'll do it. And well, I got a crit. And I can't disable him eating. Alright, never mind. See, you need to get lucky with the crits. But if you can kill him this round, you should be able to go in the next one. And Volder's still kicking in again. Holy crap. Alright, let's hit him again. Alright, this didn't do a crit. Also not a crit.
Foe bleeds.
And this one should actually... I think I'll be saving the AP, at least 3, because he needs 1 to teleport and 2 for Hammerhand. And there we go. Nurgling Spew. No, just focus on the damage.
Such dreary and ungrateful guests.
Having a high crit build really is really all that comes down to it. Yeah, you actually use Force Strike 7, 6. Every damage matters. Alright, so Yolanta's now comes your time to shine. And I'll warp charge it. Oh, I can warp charge gain 3. So this one just does 2. This one gives them 3. Oh. Oh, yeah. Well, doesn't. That's 3 actions on Volder, which means possibly more crits. Or more. You want to crit, Volder, please? No, he didn't feel like critting this time. I'll use this one again, so I can give it to Volder.
Yes, Commander.
And Volder will hit again. Actually, never mind. Let me see his HP. 13.
Command.
13. 13. If I do this twice, he dies. Oh. Not even half. And there we go. And you just kill him with one shot. Just like that. I know it doesn't show, but it will. See?
Our duty fulfilled.
Just like that. See, if you have the right build, I do admit the crits were lucky.
It is done.
The crit damage was really lucky. But if you make a good crit build, it's actually very doable.
Yes, truly. We must recover the prime seed and pursue the others.
But even if you didn't, he would be severely damaged. And in the next round, you'll be able to do it.
Purge the immediate area before we return anything to the ship.
And there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll make videos for the rest of them, and I'll see you on the next few bosses. Bye.